what businesses need and what people need and what relationships need is a jolt, something that startles them, something that shifts them, something that's different. Like, what would happen if we're riding, I read this in the book, we were riding down that same road, and after we saw 15, 16, 18 different animals, cows and horses, what would make my interest reappear? What would make me get excited again? And the writer said, a purple cow.
Wow.
Something that stands out, something that's different, something that no one else is doing, something that you like, oh my God, I've never seen this before.
Yeah.
That's what it's gonna take.
Yeah.
It's gonna take someone who comes on the scene and say, you know what? McDonald's is cool.
Yeah.
But I don't wanna do a knockoff McDonald's.
Yeah, bingo.
I wanna do something that's different.
I wanna do the purple cow.
There you go. So you have to ask yourself, what is my purple cow?
Yeah.
What is going to be the thing that makes me stand apart, that stands out? What's going to be the thing that while people ride past, they're going to stop this time?
Yeah.
And when you identify that, then you stop living in regret.
That's it.
Because you say, everything that I may have missed out on, this was all worth it.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the YouTube channel. Y'all already know what to do, man. I'm super excited for another episode of Mannerisms. But, man, a part of this, you know, we've been dealing with business, we've been dealing with entrepreneurship, and I have asked my brother, one of my closest friends, none other than Marquis Boone, back to the platform. What is this hand doing? So check this out, guys, man. Like, me and Boone, man, we got some amazing things on the horizon. Like, we working like crazy right now. So, man, it's been nuts. So,
100.
like the first one, man, the first video went up, man. Like,
I know,
people loved it, bro.
I was like, this is crazy. People was texting me and stuff, and I was just like, hold on, it's up?
Yeah.
And then you sent it to me, and I was like, this is wild. And I put up a clip, and man, like, I had mentees that was like, man, that was such a powerful video. I was just like, wow. Yeah. So I'm glad that you would allow me back into your space.
Oh man, get out of here, dude. Get out of here. Listen, man, we got some things that we're gonna be announcing. Matter of fact, we probably do a little preview, you know.
Preview.
So I'm excited about it, man. But one of the things that we're gonna talk about today is this concept of business betting on yourself.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we don't bet on ourselves.
For sure.
When it comes to that. You know, well, let's start off with this question, Boone. Why do you think it's more feasible for a lot of people they can have a desire for a business, but because they're afraid and they're afraid to launch out there, they will settle for the 9-to-5 aspect. You know, what is keeping us from kind of betting on ourselves?
I think one, AD, I've always told you this, I love the show, Mannerisms.
I appreciate it.
That name, powerful. But I think one is because of our context, man. Like, we live in a culture from education, how they teach us, we're put in a paradigm on structure. Yeah. Get a job. What do you want to be when you grow up? And most of the time, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be something that has to do with a 9-to-5, not entrepreneurship, not ownership, not, you know, doing your own thing. So when you have that ingrained in you for so long, and then you get of age and now you're out here working a 9-to-5, and it's like, man, I really feel passionate about something else, but I don't want to stop doing this constant 9-to-5 because at the end of every 2 weeks, I have a guarantee. And a lot of people have this notion that guarantees are better than the unknown.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
I definitely can see that.
So I think that's what it is.
So we settle for the stability of, you know, $5,000 every 2 weeks. Yeah. Versus before tax, rather than betting on ourselves.
Absolutely.
And could possibly see $5,000 in a day.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I think the way our mind is constantly developing, we're always thinking about, how am I going to do this? How I'm going to pay that? How I'm going to survive here? How I'm going to do that? So then when you're inundating yourself with all of this in your head, plus you want to take a step and do that, nothing's going to appear but fear.
Yeah, man, that's so true. That's so true. So, you know, like this thing, like you just mentioned, fear. Wait a minute, let me let me say this because
Yeah.
you just complimented the name Mannerisms of the show.
Yeah.
I didn't come up with it, you
For
know.
real?
Yeah, you know, like Brie and Lamar was talking, and you know, like they work behind the cameras, and I'm just really here just to talk. Like that's
Facts.
you know, they handle everything else, but
Yeah.
they was like talking, and then all of a sudden, I think one of them said, I ain't gonna say which one, but Bree's the smarter one. So Bree probably did say no.
Lamar's the money maker.
Yeah, Lamar's get to the money.
Right.
so I wish, because you always tell me like I come up with good names and good concepts.
Brilliant black boy.
Yeah.
Mannerism.
Brilliant black boy, commas.
I'm like, he doesn't miss.
Yeah, you know, but Mannerisms wasn't mine.
Can you just ask the Lord to give you a name for something that I can do?
Yeah, I can do it all day.
Just
I can
give me
do
a
it
name.
all day. And we're gonna talk about that.
For
We're gonna
sure.
talk about that. So you talk about that thing of fear. You know, man, I was, you know, we were having a discussion yesterday.
Yeah.
About regret.
For sure.
You know, man, and I found that my dad, the reason why I took the biggest leap of my life thus far to leave stability, to leave what I've known, to constantly put money in my pocket, or, you know, not even just that, just the stability of the known.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Was because I no longer, after my dad passed and after my stepfather passed and after my brother passed, I just came to a place where I just didn't want to live in regret anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? The shoulda, coulda, wouldas and
Yep.
all of that. And I noticed, and I think this is why we have to do self-examination, because you need to see what's in your bloodline, right?
Of course, yeah.
And what you have the propensity to become, or what you have the capability to constantly lean into.
Absolutely.
And my father, man, God bless his soul, man, but you know, I noticed that when we were trying to establish a new relationship, my dad and I had a very estranged relationship growing up.
Yeah.
You know, for me growing up, and then, you know, my dad disappeared for years.
Yeah.
And then popped back up, and then, you know, we tried to rekindle, and that didn't work. Then we tried it again a few years later, and, you know, it just seemed to always be an issue. But one of the things that I've noticed now, not looking through the lens of victimization, like, you know, oh man, what did he do to me?
Right.
You know, that regret was such a demon that was on my father's back.
Yeah.
And every time we tried to have the conversations or try to move on from them, every time we would talk, it would always be about what he did not do. I'm so sorry I didn't do that. And that's the reason why I absolutely love what the past teaches us, but I hate talking about and living in the past. I absolutely despise it. And I noticed that it was crippling our ability to forge a new relationship, because he was so hung up on, you know, what he had done in the past. And then now I noticed you know, if I didn't take certain leaps or make certain decisions, I was going to be just like my father, because that same cycle was going to, you know, perpetuate in my life. So I just chose to, because, you know, we oftentimes talk about, you know, generational curse breakers, cycle breakers, but it takes the risk taker to break it. And I believe that, man, like, yo, my bloodline won't have to suffer with that anymore, because I wasn't afraid to take it. You know, this thing of regret, you know, so when we're facing fear, how do we overcome fear in business and entrepreneurship and just in life in general, so that therefore we don't have to, you know, whatever fear we're afraid to face, I'm afraid that we're going to sit with regret for the rest of our life. Yeah,
so regret is nothing more than that rewind button, bro. Every time we press or think about regret, we're pushing rewind. And then we go back to what I could have did, what I should have did, where I would be. It's that rewind. It's like replaying it all over again. Some people are addicted to two things. One, it's fear. Two is regret. We become addicted to, man, I could have been here. You know, like if you sit down with like one of them uncles, and he start talking about his younger days, and man, I could have been this, and I could have had a scholarship here, and I could have, like, it's always these could have been, and they get something out of it. It's that adrenaline rush. The person who's addicted to fear, like they're scared to do it, but they get all the way up to it and then they'll back down.
Yeah.
It's like they get that rush. And I think the only way you can overcome fear and the only way you can overcome regret is that you have to just jump.
Yeah.
You have to just do it. Like, I refuse to live a life of regret, and I do that by just doing what I feel led to do.
Yeah.
Like, I had a chance to buy shares in Beyond the Meat, man. And I was like, yeah, I'll think about it, all that kind of stuff. And I didn't do it, right? I said, I'm gonna watch it. And I never did it.
Yeah.
And then it went, had an IPO, it came out, and I was like, man, maybe I should buy some now.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it. But I sit back 2 years later and say, I could have, but I'm not gonna replay that.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I had a chance, I didn't take it.
Yeah.
My choice, I'll move on.
That's it.
And I think when we choose to take our power back by not dwelling in what we could have done, regret no longer has a source or a place to really take root in us.
Wow.
It's when you allow regret of what you could have done to have a lot of weight and a lot of power in you. It's nothing wrong with acknowledging, yeah, I had the opportunity. I chose not to take it.
Yeah.
And I'm no longer going to live what I chose not to do.
That's it. That's it. So the moment I make the choice, I just need to resolve that I made the choice.
You made the choice. And
That's
it's fine. Like, your dad, a better place for him would have been coming to grips with, that's where I was then.
Yeah.
That was my choice, whether that was my immaturity, whether that's my lack of confidence, whether that's my lack of having a father. Okay, I resolve myself and say, yeah, that's what I've chose to do then. Once I make that decision, I live in the present, not in the past. The present is, you know what, that was my choice then, but now my choice now is to be active in your life. I'll never forget, I read this book and it changed the trajectory of how I approach apologizing.
Yeah.
The lady said, I will never apologize again. And I was in the book, I'm like, well, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And she said, I chose because she said the energy that apologizing gave me made me live with so much lowness in me. And she said, instead of apologizing, she said, now I just say thank you. And she uses the examples. And when I read the examples, it changed. Like, I could feel the different energy. So she said, so instead of me being, when I'm late to a meeting and I'm running 20 minutes behind and I get to that meeting, instead of saying, I'm so sorry for being late, she said, I just say, thank y'all so much for waiting for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, that's a whole different vibe that you get.
It is.
You know, so she says, instead of me saying, I apologize for yelling at you and disrespecting you and all that kind of stuff, when she's in a relationship, she says, instead of saying, I'm sorry or I apologize, she said, thank you so much for dealing with my hiccups and my madness and my anger and my this and that. She said, and it changed my entire energy and vibration.
That's changing my vibration right now. I feel appreciated.
You know what I'm saying? Like, dog, thank you for putting up with me, man. You know, like, instead of saying, I'm so sorry that I'm nagging and I'm disrespectful, I'm this, like, because you're continually reinforcing your negativity with it versus acknowledging the person who is there. So regret is all about changing how you view it, take responsibility, don't live there, and move on.
Man, I love what you said when you just mentioned the fact of, like, yo, that was the decision I made then. That was the choice then.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm choosing now.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of times we don't give people the right to change their choice. We don't. Like, I want to keep you in the choice you made 5 years ago. I want to keep you in the choice you made a year ago. I want to keep you at that place. Yeah, you made that choice then, but no, I'm trying to make a different choice now.
Facts.
And you can't keep me a prisoner to that.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying?
We're human, man. Meaning that we are living beings.
Yeah.
Anything that is living, whether it's a human, whether it's a plant, whether it's a tree, a rose, or whatever, anything that is living is always changing.
That's it.
Your cells are changing right now. You may not see them, but they're changing right now.
Yeah.
Your bones, as you were growing, were changing. Like, you are a living being. The flowers are changing. The trees are changing. The leaves are changing. The grass is changing. The air is changing. Like, anything's living is changing.
Yeah.
So if you connect with a living being, you have to leave room for change.
Man.
If you marry somebody, you have to leave room for change. If you become friends with somebody, you have to leave room for change.
Yeah.
Like, we are organisms. They are growing. They are living. They are changing. The person you marry at 22 is not going to be the person you're married to at 52. Like, everything has to have room for change.
Yeah, and I think that's something we might give to other people, but a lot of times we don't give it to ourselves.
We don't.
we don't give ourselves room to change.
Yeah.
And I think that
we beat ourselves up over it.
Yeah, we beat ourselves up over it. And I think that is also a hindrance to why certain people can't launch that business.
Oh, for sure.
Can't start that because you see yourself as an employee.
Yeah.
You don't see yourself as a boss.
Exactly.
You don't see yourself as someone that is disciplined enough. And we know it takes a lot of discipline to run your own business.
Yep.
You know, you gotta wake yourself up.
Facts.
You gotta start it yourself. You gotta go out there and get it, man. And it just takes a different level of go get it.
Yeah. And that starts with that particular mindset. Like, you have to know that when you change roles from an employee to an employer, your mind has to shift. Yeah. It has to.
Yeah.
And we like change until it comes down to our preference. Think about it, like, if change wasn't important, why do they change models of cars?
Yeah. Yeah.
You'd be like, oh, I like that model better. I'm gonna get the newer model.
Yeah.
It's a change.
Yeah.
If change was important, why do you change your clothes?
Yeah. Well, I won't wear the same thing every day. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, everything is changing.
Yeah. And I think we have to move with the change. And I also think that if we move with the change and we think about things ahead of the cusp,
for sure,
we'll begin to answer the problem that people don't even know is a problem, which causes us to live in a place of extreme wealth, business opportunity, because all businesses is like, we look at Netflix. Netflix has changed from the time it came out. It was, you used to have to mail CDs in. I mean, mail DVDs.
They mail it to you.
Mail it to you. You know what I'm saying? They mail it back because what they were saying was, hey, we're gonna be ahead of the cusp. We're tired. I know you're tired of going to that store down the street and hoping that the movie's there. You know what I'm saying? I remember I used to go to Blockbuster, bro. It was the best thing on the planet.
We'll be looking forward to Friday nights, man.
Friday nights. And then you go and then you see the whole wall with that particular movie. Like, you was like, oh, they got it in. And they had a tape behind it.
Exactly. You had to go ahead and pull it, take it up to the front, get the real one. You had those late fees if you didn't turn it back.
Them late fees used to kill me. I might as well go and buy it, dude.
Exactly.
But man, but we see how the times have changed. It was like, even with taxis. Now you got Uber. It was like times have changed. Like, I'm not gonna sit around and wait for a taxi. I can request it. You can request it. And I think that if we continue to model ourselves to constantly change with the times, or model our businesses to constantly change with the times, it changes everything concerning us.
Exactly. And the only way you position yourself for that is that you have that open mind, you have that open heart, man. Like, Netflix, they had an open mind, they had an open heart. They wasn't married and stuck to a paradigm in their head. Most people who plateau or hit a ceiling is because they're so married to their ways and their formula and their model that they refuse to change. And when you become more engulfed and married to a concept or a model or an idea, you're never going to become the totality that you can
man. Be. Man, one of the things that I was researching, I'm launching my branding marketing company, and man, one of the things that I was researching, because I've loved branding marketing for years.
Yes, sir.
But a few years ago, I was doing some research, and I actually kind of put this on paper that, we've both led church organizations, right? And I looked at the model of church, and typically the church is the only institution, is the only organization that doesn't change. They'll fight it tooth and nail. And then I looked at it from even our standpoint, of changing our seats within our organizations, right? Right now with McDonald's, their primary marketing tool is not the Big Mac.
Correct.
But at one point it was. It was their biggest, it was their number one seller. And they advertise and market the Big Mac. We all know 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on the sesame seed bun. Like, we know it because that was their marketing tool, right? And what they saw after a while, think that the world is changing. They want health now. So we're gonna offer salads, and we're gonna advertise this, and we're gonna advertise this. But what they did, they said, we're gonna change what we put out in the forefront, but we'll keep it on the menu.
Absolutely.
And I think
That's
that's the model, even with us and our organizations.
Yeah.
We're still here.
Yep.
We're still, you know what I'm saying? We just changed because the organization required that.
Yeah.
And I think that if we continue to be progressive enough with businesses and things of that nature, that we'll see what is the world or what is society moving towards right now, that now we need to offer that. We need to add this to our repertoire.
Correct. And that's where our eyes and minds need to be. I look at it this way. When we are on a journey, a road trip, right? I remember the first time we were on a road trip and we're riding down a road and you start seeing like horses and cows for the first time.
Yeah.
You get super excited.
Yeah.
But after a while, it doesn't move you anymore.
It doesn't move you.
Because you didn't see 15 horses or 15 cows.
Yeah.
What businesses need and what people need and what relationships need is a jolt, something that startles them, something that shifts them, something that's different. Like, what would happen if we're riding, I read this in the book, we were riding down that same road, and after we saw 15, 16, 18 different animals, cows and horses, what would make my interest reappear? What would make me get excited again? And the writer said, a purple cow.
Wow.
Something that stands out, something that's different, something that no one else is doing, something that you like, oh my God, I've never seen this before.
Yeah.
That's what it's gonna take.
Yeah.
It's gonna take someone who comes on the scene and say, you know what, McDonald's is cool.
Yeah.
But I don't wanna do a knockoff McDonald's.
Yeah, bingo.
I wanna do something that's different.
I wanna do the purple cow.
There you go. So you have to ask yourself, what is my purple cow?
Yeah.
What is going to be the thing that makes me stand apart, that stands out? What's going to be the thing that while people ride past, they're going to stop this time?
Yeah.
And when you identify that, then you stop living in regret.
That's it.
Because you say, everything that I may have missed out on, this was all worth it.
That's it. Because now I'm making a different choice.
What?
Yeah. Like, man, man, you know, like I've watched regret consume us and then consume us, but then cripple us all at the same time.
Yeah.
Because now we don't want to take any other risk because we didn't take one risk before.
Yeah.
And that one went good, but you like, that's the one I missed out on.
Facts.
Every other risk I take gonna be bad.
Gonna be the bad same situation.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just not gonna take it.
Yep.
And I just think that we just have to get to a point where we're just saying like, yo, I'm not gonna live in regret.
Yeah.
I've come to this place in my life. I can live with it didn't work.
Right.
But I can't live with I didn't try.
Facts.
Facts. Every video on YouTube, every content that I've been putting out, you know, people are like, oh man, your content quality is crazy.
Yeah.
Now understand, like that cost me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
This is all like I love doing it.
Yeah.
But you know, like it costs.
Facts.
You know, that's a risk.
Facts. It is.
It's a risk.
Yeah.
But I'm risking what I like to do. So therefore it's like, yo, I put my own money behind it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have a sponsor. I don't have,
right.
I ain't got no investor.
Yeah.
I am the investor.
You are.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm choosing to invest in myself. But so it's the concept and it's the idea that I don't want to live in the place of, man, I wonder if I would have launched that video.
Yeah.
Who would that would have impacted, or what business would they would have launched, or you know, or they heard that and it changed their life, or whatever the case may be.
And that's that space of there is no such thing as failure. The only failure is not doing.
Yeah.
If you try something and it doesn't work, that's not considered failure to me.
Yeah. I agree.
The failure would have been, I'm not going to try.
Not doing it.
You've already failed yourself.
Yeah.
You failed learning yourself. You failed exploring. You failed growing. You failed trying to identify and see if it's something that could work. Like, that's failure.
Yeah.
It's the inability to try.
Bingo.
Not trying and it doesn't work.
And I got a funny story for that. You know, like my mom is probably gonna talk about this, but I remember I was in science class and my science teacher. No, it wasn't science class. It was math class.
Yeah.
No, it was science class. Okay, Miss Sybil. Yep, science class. And I was in science class, and we had a multiple choice test. I didn't study. I left it blank.
Right.
Miss Silver gave me a 0. I got home. My mom had to sign the thing because I just refused to do the test because I was like, I ain't know nothing.
Yeah.
I get there, my mama beat my butt.
Yeah.
My mama signed the paper. She sent me back, right?
Yeah.
Few months go by, another test come up. I didn't study for that one. But this time I put my name on the test.
Mm-hmm.
It was multiple choice.
Right.
I just went down, I just guessed.
You tried, yeah.
I tried. I got a 42. Now I went home.
Right.
My mom was like, you know I'm finna beat your tail.
Right.
I said, it's better than a 0.
Facts.
So I failed last time because I didn't try.
Correct.
I got a 42.
Exactly.
It's better than last
time. Better than 0.
Now
That's
both
true.
times I got a whooping,
Exactly.
but
You put forth effort, man.
I put forth effort, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now after that I did start studying for real. Like I really did.
Yeah, because you can't get out what you don't put in.
Bingo.
And a lot of people don't realize that. You know,
Bingo.
we live in a society where we want things to happen so fast.
Bro, you preaching to me right now.
With no effort though.
Oh, now
like
that.
we sit there on Instagram, we look at all these amazing bodies. We be like, man, I want a body like that. But we don't want to put in the work.
Bro, I'm the worst. I'm the worst. I'm the worst. Like people, man. When I was on Instagram, like I'd be saving. It'd be somebody with like abs, pecs, arms. I'd be like, yeah, and then he working out. I'm like, I'm finna say that workout,
and then do it, right? And then never do it.
And never do it.
Yep.
And I just be like, yeah, because I ain't put no time in.
And we can't get out what we don't put in, bro.
That's
so
true.
across the board. That's in business too.
That's so true.
Where there is no quality investment, there will be no quality return.
Mm-hmm. And then also at the same time, you cannot throw up what you didn't eat.
Facts.
Whatever you put in is what's gonna come out.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
There's a science. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You said there's a what?
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you go. There's a scientist in Ireland, man. He did this experiment years ago, and in the study document, it states that he took minnows. I don't know if you've seen minnows, a little small fish. They're super fast.
Yeah.
I mean, if you blink, you might miss them because they're so fast or whatever.
Yeah.
But he took minnows, put them in the water, and they would swim really fast or whatever. And what he did was he submerged a glass bowl into the water that covered the minnow. Now, of course, a minnow can't see the glass bowl because the glass bowl is clear underwater. It's submerged underwater.
Yeah.
So the minnow kept trying to swim, and it kept noticing it kept hitting something, but it couldn't see nothing there. So the minnow tried for so many times, and the scientist is taking notice of how many times this minnow is trying to swim and is reluctant to move because it keeps hitting something. At some point, the minnow stops trying, and the minnow literally just starts wiggling in place. A few days later, the scientist comes in after he's looking at his studies, and he removes the glass jar slowly. The minnow doesn't notice that the glass jar is gone, but the minnow was so tired of quote unquote failing or hitting something or not being able to move, that now that restriction has been removed, he refuses to swim because he's tried so many times.
Man.
And so many people that are watching your podcast is like that minnow.
Yeah.
They tried to start a business, it didn't work. They tried the relationship, it didn't work. They tried to move forward, it didn't work. They tried to do a different type of industry, it didn't work. And they got so stuck that they just swimming in place, man. So they're satisfied with the 9 to 5, even though it's not the place they want to be, but they have a guarantee that at least I'm going to get that check, so I'll swim in place.
Man.
I want to go and get married, but I'm not going to get married because the last time I was in a relationship, they broke my heart, so I'll just swim in place.
Swim in place.
My dad lived with so much regret, and maybe that's what I'm supposed to do is live with the same type of regret of what I could have did. Let me be settled here, and they swim in place.
Yeah. Man, that's so rich. Because I'm actually, as you saying it, seeing it in my life in certain aspects. And in certain aspects, I'm swimming away.
Yeah.
But then, then in other aspects, because I've tried, I've attempted, and it didn't work. And it's like, and then I think that's the difference between living and existing.
Oh, yeah.
The mental didn't die.
Yeah.
It just
existed.
It just
swam in place,
and if you asked about the quality of the life, you'd be like, I went to work.
Bro, imagine seeing everybody else in that ecosystem moving.
Man.
But you.
Man.
I mean, they're looking at you like, yo, come on, let's go out.
Yeah.
You're like, no. Last time I went out and I tried, I got hit something.
Yeah. Yep. And then, oh man, this is so good. And then I think that if you are another minnow and you talk to that minnow,
whoa,
that minnow gonna tell you,
that's a game changer right there. Yeah.
don't you dare.
Don't you dare. You just got to swim in place like
You
me.
better swim in place like me. Stop doing all of that.
Yep.
Eventually, you're going to hit something,
Exactly.
and you're going to be stuck.
Yep.
Now, and that's the reason why we have to be very selective about who we lend our ears to when we're launching business.
For sure.
When we're trying to step out, when we're trying to do different things, because people will give you their horror stories, not understanding that we have different limitations.
Of course.
And just because you couldn't do it,
doesn't
maybe
mean
maybe you weren't the one to do it. Maybe I am. You know, and we have to know that their limitations don't have to become ours.
Absolutely. Don't allow someone to spew their experience on you.
Yeah.
You can glean from a person's experience, but do not allow their experience to become your experience.
Yeah.
Eat the meat, spit out the bone.
That's it.
I would say to all your viewers, man, who are watching, that if they really want to launch out in business and do business for real, they need to study and learn what business is, what entrepreneurial is. And I think within our culture, many people don't really know what business is.
Yeah.
They believe because they do something well that they can monetize it and make it a business. And sometimes that's not the best route to go.
Yeah.
Because you'll fail to realize the difference between a hobby and a business. Most people have great hobbies that they try to make into businesses, but when they don't understand how businesses operate, what type of business should I start? Should I be INC? Should I be LLC? Should I be an LLP? S Corp, C Corp, sole proprietor? Like nonprofit. Like there's a plethora of different options out there.
Yeah.
But if you haven't studied those things, you won't even know.
Yeah.
So I just listen and be like, oh, I'm just gonna do whatever that person did. I saw LLC on that one, so I'm gonna do that, but don't even know what LLC is.
Yeah.
So I think we want to know what it is. Like, do the work so that you can really monetize and have the experience that you want to have, but you can't have that experience not knowing the information.
Bingo. You got to do the work.
You got to do the work, man.
You got to, man. Like, all right, so, you know,
let's go there. I see you break down.
Because man, there's a few things, like even with myself, man. I launched this new business.
Yep.
Congrats
to that,
man.
too.
Thank you,
Multiple
man.
streams, man.
Thank you. Multiple streams, man. The Commerce Agency, which is my lifestyle brand, say marketing and branding company, man. And I'm super excited about it. We got a few clients that we're working with. Then I got Brilliant Black Boy LLC, where I'm developing content and docu-series stuff, man. And so I'm excited, about that. But, you really helped me last night. We were talking about this, but for people that are starting their business and they're looking for startup money, like, it's like, man, I don't have the money to start a business. I think people don't know, for one, to start a business doesn't take a whole lot.
Doesn't.
And then for two, when you have like a project that you're trying to fund, there's ways for that.
Absolutely.
And I think that because we just don't do the work.
Absolutely. I'm gonna say this, I teach this in my mentorship program, but for those of people who say, well, I just don't have the money to start or whatever, I always say, you may not know what you want to do. You may not know how you're going to fund it. The first business that you should always incorporate first should be yourself. And so for you, what I would say to you, if you were just starting out, I would say the first thing you want to do is take Adrian Davis and make it a company.
Yeah.
And you're going to take Adrian Davis and you're going to incorporate it, or you're going to make it an LLC, or you're going to make it a sole proprietor or whatever. And you're going to start there, because now Adrian Davis as a human is an entity. Adrian Davis now as a company is another entity.
Yeah.
Adrian Davis as a human has an SSN.
Yeah.
Adrian Davis as a company has an EIN.
Yeah.
So now you have two entities, right? So now I have Adrian Davis LLC. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take that, I'm going to open up a bank account, I'm going to get my EIN number, I'm going to get everything situated correctly. Then I'm going to take all the money that Adrian Davis as the human brings in, and I'm going to funnel it to now the entity.
Yeah.
Because now what you're starting to do is develop a relationship with a bank, and you're showing the bank cash flow. This is what we call cash flow.
Yeah.
So you may not have a brand, you may not have a product, you are the product now.
Yeah.
So you may be working a 9 to 5. Instead of my money going into my personal account, I want it to go into my business account, Adrian Davis LLC.
Yeah.
And I do this for 12 months, so I'm funneling money through there. And then I'm going to set up a payroll from Adrian Davis LLC to pay myself.
Yeah.
Now I have a payroll, plus I'm showing the bank that I got cash flow.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to be able to qualify for stuff as an entity separated from my SSN.
Bingo.
And this is the game changer. This is where people mass super amounts of wealth by developing companies.
Yep.
And your first company should always be yourself.
Bingo, man. And then, you know, like our culture doesn't understand DUNS numbers, doesn't understand business credit, doesn't understand getting things in our business name.
Yep.
So, you know, we pride ourselves on personal credit.
Right.
And
that's good.
It's good. You know, like I'm all for it. I help people establish their credit, you know, get their credit straight. But man, like, yo, I'm like, you know, this is what our Caucasian counterparts understand.
Yeah.
They understand I'm gonna put it in my business name, and then if things get tight, that business can go under, but it doesn't affect me personally.
Personally at all.
So take that car under my business name. That's perfectly fine. I go get a car in my name.
Yeah, facts. And that's the beautiful part, man, when you start realizing the two different entities and the amount of protection that one keeps with the other. I tell people all the time, you know, the difference between an INC and an LLC is when you have an INC, every person on that board is susceptible and open to lawsuits. All of your assets are now on the table for that company.
Yep.
LLC is a limited liability company, which means that nothing from my personal assets can be touched as it relates to the business. So you can sue my company, but you cannot sue me, and I don't have to put my assets on the table when it comes to that particular entity. So there's a lot of different types of things that protect you depending on what type of structure you go with and you form when it comes to a company. Now, there are certain types of companies that you may form that you cannot get away from being INC. So when you talk about like nonprofits, you know, there has to be
INC.
Yeah, it has to be INC. If it's a 501c3, you know, you want to make sure that it has the board of directors, and these board of directors understand that they are opening up themselves up to their liabilities. I mean, their assets and things of that nature. But it's so much to dig into when it comes to companies and business, but it's a game changer. If you spend enough time learning it, how to develop trust, how to own companies. And, you know, there are companies out there that call shelf companies. And these are companies that literally are created to literally sit on the shelf. And people buy shelf companies so that they can funnel lines of credits and buy buildings and get mortgages and commercial loans and all that. Trade lines, like from shelf companies. You can Google shelf companies and you'll find out it's so many shelf companies out there that you can buy and have instant amounts of line of credit at your fingertips.
I mean, like, dude, like you're giving us so many jewels and gems right now. But you have your mentorship program. So tell us where we can be a part of that.
Yeah, so you can find me on all social media at Boone M. That's Boon as in Nancy, E as in Edward, M as in Marquis, on all social media. And then click on the link, it'll take you to all my wealth building programs.
Okay, so you got wealth building programs. You're teaching people these
principles,
these
man,
principles,
these tricks.
man. These are, and the thing of it is, like, you know, like even, you know, like people be like, oh, he gonna teach me how to hustle the game. No, everybody understands. The thing is, the game is set up like this. We just don't do the work to learn it. Like, and that's what we have to do. We got to do the work to learn it.
And you want to legitimize yourself.
Bingo.
Like, I'm not going to teach you how to, like, you know, not pay tax and all that kind of stuff, because then that's going to affect you when it comes time to qualify for stuff. So you want to legitimize your company. You want to pay Uncle Sam so that you can have legitimate papers and documents so that you can qualify for more stuff.
Bingo. So, man, listen. All right, so y'all know where to go find Boone. It's wealth building mentorship. Then if you need marketing, branding, all that stuff, packaging your ideas and taking your ideas from mind to reality, make sure you hit up thecommerceagency.com so, man, we can help you there. But, man, thank you again, man, for being on the show, man, as always. Oh, check this out, because I forgot. We got a little commercial. Because myself and Marquis, we have officially are officially launching our podcast. And so we're doing a podcast together called Painkillers. It is crazy. We just did a few episodes. It is nuts. Like, it's going live at the beginning of the year, man. So I want you guys to stay on the lookout for that, and we will make sure that the commercial hits this YouTube channel once we go live, and give you the exact date, tell you to go and watch. And, well, you'll be seeing the videos on here because I'll be putting the videos up, but you go and listen to Apple Podcasts or all the podcast platforms. And so Spotify, all of those things, man, it's going to be there. So wanted to make sure that you all have that. But, man, listen, we're about to get up out of here, but don't forget, God is doing more than you think God is doing more than what you think he is, and you're doing better than what you think you are. Again, God is doing more than what you think he is, and you're doing better than what you think you are, man. And don't forget that every day is an opportunity to change your life. You're always changing. Can't wait to see you guys soon.